Good morning, Dina. So, hey, everybody, this is Tracy with Live Your Bliss Travel. And today I'm here with my amazing and one of my favorite clients ever, Dena Clover Vargas. And we're just going to be talking about the experience of our client consultation and creation for your dream vacation. So, Dina, thank you so much for being here today. You look beautiful as always.
Oh, you too, Tracy. You're my favorite.
Thank you, thank you. So for those of us joining us today, I would just love for you to talk about how we came to work together on this last adventure and a little bit about your experience so that people kind of understand what at Live Your Bliss Travel, why work with a travel advisor and how it can really help you to have the best experience possible.
Well, so I mean, the first thing was my 78-year-old mom kind of let us know on short notice that she really wanted to make this dream come true that she's had for 40 years to go to Costa Rica. So we had about, I think it was a total of like 5 weeks, and so I immediately called you, and we got to work, and it was amazing. You gave so many scenarios, but first off, just feeling like I had a partner who knew the area, who this is what you do, and that I knew we were going to have a fantastic trip, even if it was on really short notice. And in fact, I think it really worked out well that way. Um, and Even just things like I was thinking about, you recommended like travel insurance. I'd never used travel insurance, but I have to tell you, during my whole trip, knowing that we had that in play, and in fact, my daughter lost her phone, so I think we're going to be able to get some of that reimbursed. But the comfort of knowing that a travel agent, Tracy, you answered every text, every call, every email. We had family meetings going into it so that everybody got to put in their input about what they were hoping for this trip. And of course, that's what we had and more. And go.
Well,
So
I have to tell you, part of my process is really kind of having that Zoom call where everyone is there because I like to put a name to a face and I want everyone to know and be able to give their own input. And, I know that this trip was really about creating a multi-generational experience where everyone had kind of their specific scenarios created for them so they were super happy, right? And
yes.
especially for your mom. It made me so happy to be able to work with you guys. And you were just I love collaboration. So, I do plan lots of trips for people that aren't as involved as you and I were. But because it was last minute notice, and also because your mom, she really had some things that were kind of her bucket list things, like, I definitely want to do this. We just really kind of made that come together. And I loved seeing your pictures. That's part of my favorite thing too, is as clients are traveling, they always send me pictures and kind of, yeah, for Facebook and social media, they'll tag me in it and I'll get to see it. And it's like, I'm there with you. It's so fun.
It was, and that was it. You were just such a partner from beginning to end, and now, today, and it was just, I just felt really held, and I felt really supported there, and through the process, as we just quickly, you put together scenarios, we adapted them quickly, we adapted them along the way to make that experience, because that's what travel is about, right? Is an experience. And so being able to have your advice, because you've been there, be able to say, no, this is where you want to be, this is where you want to go. And of course, there's no way I would have known that. And of course, everything was perfect. Everything was exactly perfect. And then what we were talking about is transportation. I would have never thought about our transportation the way that you did. I would have never thought about it at all. And the transportation, because we did make a lot of moves and we did kind of move about the country. It was stress free and perfect, and we got to have, again, more experience and more culture. All of our drivers were fantastic, our guides for our excursions were just so fantastic, and everything was so easy and planned out, and really gave us this next level. And I don't know that I'll ever travel again without a driver. And they were flexible, and being able to accommodate what my family needed along the way, to see sites that we wouldn't have seen, and just the stress free part. It felt very decadent. and that was such a gift that I didn't even know I needed, the transportation parts, along with everything else. And then of course, um, yeah, because we're just talking about the working together. The last, kind of one of the last things is on the very last day, we're going to leave, and we've been traveling all day with our great driver, and I get to the hotel. New girl didn't quite know what was going on. Anyway, I just walked to my room. She gave us our room. I paid, went to my room, put on my bathing suit. Tracy gets on the phone, my refund for the issue with them not finding our room. And I didn't, it was again decadent. It was just decadent to know you were always there.
I'm decadent. We're decadent.
You're decadent.
Well, and I think, what was really great too about this experience for you is I really feel like when I'm planning trips for people, there's a lot of moving pieces, but it's my job to make sure that everything runs smoothly. So I'm glad on that last day when you had a challenge that I was able to take care of that for you so that you could just, chill. Like, who wants that kind of stress at the end of your trip? So, Dena, before we close on this part, and we're going to go in and we're going to talk some more specifically about Costa Rica and your experience, what would you say to people that are wondering if they should work with a professional travel advisor?
I would say yes. I would absolutely say yes. I believe in professionals doing what they do and doing what they do well to serve their clients. And that was absolutely my experience. I'm a professional, and I believe in the value of somebody who knows what they're doing to support their people. And I think that having a travel agent was, like I said, there was all these things that I didn't know that I needed, and now that I know, it just solidifies how important how important you were to making this dream trip for my mother, my husband, my daughter, and I become this flawless, priceless memories that we could have. And to be able to maximize while we're there, because we weren't worrying about the details, because you had already taken care of everything, kept us, and obviously in the pandemic, pandemic, leaving the country, there was additional things that at no point did I feel like I didn't have the information that I needed to be able to make an international trip with the three most important people in my life. I mean, because that's really what it comes down to is, that my family, my most important people, and making this be this priceless experience. You did it. Like, you did it. And I got to yay and nay. I got to yay and nay on that, but really it took so much pressure off of me. I felt safe, I felt held, I felt protected. And I also knew that our trip was just really, with your experience, with the fact that you had just been there, was going to be magical, because your fairy dust had already been there.
Oh, we're magic like that. Thank you so much, Dena. I really appreciate it. And, sometimes people you don't know what you don't know. So that's what's really great about having a professional to support you. And I appreciate you. And, I have a 30-minute consult that is complimentary. And so if anyone's interested, you can click below and you can, set up a call. If you're thinking about a trip, I always tell people it's not too early to start planning a trip. You can look at what you want to do for 2023, 2024, but just know that we're in a new normal of travel, and it's time to return to travel, but there's always going to be moving pieces. And so my job and commitment with regards to any of my clients is to make it the most beautiful, relaxing experience. Whether you want to have adventures or whether you want to just chill on the beach, you want to know what's going on, and you want to know that you have a travel advocate for you. So thank you so much for all of your info, and I love you guys, and it was just such a pleasure. I'm so happy. Your mom, she sent me that message in the middle of the trip, and it literally made me cry, because I just feel like, yeah, this is what we need to do. We need to travel with our family and our friends. We need to have connection, and we need to really have these experiences as memories for the rest of your life. So that's what I say. Live your bliss, travel. My bliss is to help you to create those magical memories that you'll never forget. It's kind of like, I equate it to music. Like, I don't know about you, but I can hear a song and it'll take me back like 30 years, right? And that's how I feel about some of my adventures in Costa Rica. Like, I will never forget this experience, because Costa Rica is just an amazing place to visit. So I'm gonna stop now, and then we'll come back later and we'll talk more about some experiences and excursions. And thanks again, Dena. I love you. It was such a
Love you
pleasure.
too. Thanks, Tracy.
Okay, so this is going to be the second part of the interview, and I'm going to open up. And this is Dena. This is for Kay. She's going to edit this, so we're in the same recording. So I'm just telling her, "Hi, Kay."
Yeah.
All right. So now I'm going to open up and introduce the segment. Okay, and we'll just go from there. I'm like, "How's my hair? Makeup? Sitting position?" Oh, you can see a lot of wrinkles there now.
You earned them, little mama.
No, I don't want those. Okay. All right. Here we go. Hi, it's Tracy with Live Your Bliss Travel, and we're back with Dena Clover Vargas to talk about her amazing experience in Costa Rica. I love Costa Rica. I can't wait to go back. I'm going back this year again, but I just wanted to share with some of you some of the exciting adventures and excursions and different things that Dena and her family had in Costa Rica. So, Dena, thank you so much for sharing with us today. I'm sure that a lot of my clients and people who are going to be watching this really want to know, like, hey, what were some of your best experiences in Costa Rica?
Thanks, Tracy. It was also magical. It really kind of exceeded expectations, and just from beginning to end. I mean, the choices that you made for our hotels and our transfers just made it super easy. We flew into San Jose. I said in the other segment how had no idea what I didn't know that I will know that I needed, which was like our transports. So we had private transports to Manuel Antonio, and then when we got there, it was we were staying in a house, Airbnb, and staying at the house, and it was. My mom said that was one of her favorite things, to have this 3-bedroom house. And then we had, our tour into Manuel Antonio, where we got to hike to waterfalls and swim in the ocean, swim on 2 different beaches, see all this wildlife. And for our generation, 3 generation, my mom, my husband, my daughter, and I, being able to go and have this experience when my mom's getting older, and that was why we were doing the trip. And I don't know that we'll be able to take that trip again. And so all of these beautiful experiences that we got to have along the way. Your guides were amazing. The guides were so like friendly and helpful.
Wait, did she? Okay, so just to interrupt for 1 second, I'll never forget Giovanna, who's the guide who went with you. I recommend her in her tour group for all of our people, because she literally could spot a sloth in the tree like a mile away, that even with her binoculars, as I'm standing there looking through the binoculars, she still has to kind of point it out and do the things. And I'm like, how did she see this, right? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, no, and that was it. We saw, so the idea of like seeing all of these animals in the wild, and then even we had monkeys following us, and her knowledge of all of it, just the topography, the politics, the this and then that. And yeah, we saw our sloths in the wild taking naps in the afternoon.
That was your mom's thing. I gotta see a sloth, right? And I'm like, all
see
right.
a sloth. Well, and we laughed because we saw a sloth on a pole on the way home, and on the way back, like right there. So the driver stopped, and we got to like be where we could reach out and touch it. It wasn't at the park. It was at on the
I'm
way
telling
to
you. Yeah.
El Avion, which was, we went to El Avion with this, the plane restaurant overlooking while the sun set. I mean, it was all these magical, magical moments, watching my mom swim in the ocean, and where we sat and where we were. And it was just amazing. And our driver, we had, there were several points throughout our trip, because we were maximizing getting to see Costa Rica, and being able to drive stress-free, have this driver and drive us up north. So we got to see all of the countryside, and stop for lunches at little sodas, and
soda's what they call the restaurants in Costa Rica, for those of you that don't know. Because in the beginning, I was kind of confused. They're like, let's go, do you want a soda? And I'm like, what? But and a couple of the drivers that we use, they're so knowledgeable. And that was a learning for me too, is when you take a transfer, these drivers, when you have a private transfer. So you guys had 4 in your group, so the price point was amazing. I've even
Mhm.
done just like 2 in a group, and it's a great price point. But they will stop, 10 times if you want on your little drive, and they stop at waterfalls, they stop at great restaurants, they stop at they took me to this amazing pastry bakery in Jacko on our way, and I was like, they're like, would you like to stop for coffee and pastries? I'm like, are you kidding me? So that was awesome. But I love how kind and wonderful the people in Costa Rica. I mean, this was my experience, and I hear this from a lot of people. It's like the people is like one of the most amazing parts of going to Costa Rica. Would you agree?
Oh, no, absolutely. Servant heart, that I love that term, servant heart. And I
Mhm.
felt like and talking about you too, that it's like the passion is in providing, in providing this experience and providing good service and there's intimacy like in that with the people that you're in connection with, it's important to them. It was important that we had a great time. And it became like family. I mean, we ended up having one driver that stayed with us for 2 days and stayed an overnight, which was a last minute decision. He became family. I mean, it was we knew about his life. He knew about ours.
Mhm.
And we had fun.
Jorge, we use him a
Yeah,
lot. He has the biggest heart, and so Giovanna, our national park driver, and then I know you did one other excursion that was one of my favorite things, and that
right.
was the
Chocolate tour. So the chocolate tour, yeah. So the chocolate tour was fantastic. Again, we got a nice drive through the air, through the area to get a better, better location for Manuel Antonio and seeing where we were. And then we went and did that chocolate tour, which was absolutely just it was decadent in its, it was cultural, had history. The guide was passionate about what he was doing. He'd been doing it for I think like 15 years, and
Mhm.
and
And
it
he was
it, it
young.
was
He was young and a little hot. No, just kidding. He was young but knowledgeable.
he was, yeah, he was really young and knowledgeable, but he also really, again, that true like passion for what you're doing and
Mhm.
creating this experience. um it was interactive. We got to have our chocolate. They got to do the cane, squish in the cane to get the sugar out.
Yes,
And
yes. Extracting that gin juice was an experience.
right. And then just, yeah, getting to be in this beautiful, I mean, the aesthetically, it was just so magical walking through their, like, it was like a botanical garden. And then, to have the chocolate and have honor and respect
The
with that is just,
coffee. Did you
yeah.
like
And
the
the
mocha?
coffee,
So they do the
yeah.
coffee and they do the chocolate. So it's like a cacao and coffee tour. I didn't know what to expect when we went the first time. I'd heard good things, but it very much exceeded my expectations. But so
Yeah,
Dina,
we
you
loved
guys
it.
went for 2 weeks and you moved destinations. I just want to speak to the fact that Costa Rica is kind of a vast country, if you will, and you can take 3 or 4 hours to go to one area to one area. So, part of my recommendations for Costa Rica, for those of you that are looking to go, obviously reach out. Live Your Bliss Travel is here for you. But on the other side of that, you want to make sure really that you kind of have 2 different areas that you stay in. So, I definitely recommend at least 8 days, because travel is 2 days, and then you're gonna not only do you have to fly in, but then you're gonna transfer to two of the different areas. So I think 8 to 10 days is a good amount. I know you guys were there for 2 weeks. Oh my gosh, like
16
I
days.
15 days. Oh my gosh,
16,
that's
16.
amazing. But I think overall there's a great value there. Now it's not as cheap as Mexico, but it definitely is just such a wonderful experience. I recommend Costa Rica for everyone. If you haven't been, it's definitely one of those trips that you should look at. And right now it's easier than ever to go, and there's just so much to do. So but you also went up to Nassau, which is more of the beachy area. What was one of your favorite things in Nassau?
Well, our hotel, the hotel was magical. I mean, it was,
Yes.
yeah, it was magical, and it was everything, kind of catering to my mom and what my mom aesthetically likes. It was like there's so many beautiful options, but I felt like it was really important that we accommodate what she wanted, which was this very simplistic, minimalist luxury. And so that's what we had. It was a luxurious hotel, but that was aesthetic and unique and minimalist, but the parts of it that were that they had, the food, the service, the architecture was so amazing and luxurious. And then the location, we were on, two of the most, we were right, like kind of on a peninsula with what is, two of the most beautiful beaches in Costa Rica, touted all over. And it was true. On one side we had kind of volcanic rock, and then on the other the white sand and the surfers, and then just very Pura Vida, right? The Pura Vida
Pura
is
Vida, Pura Vida, Pura Vida. That's it.
yeah,
Pure
Pura Vida.
life.
And
That's
yeah,
Costa Rica.
and everybody was getting around on ATVs. It's the only regret I had, is that we didn't we the ATVs were all sold out because they're just getting around on ATVs. But the it just felt very peaceful and calm. And I got in the best, like when I came back, I was realizing I was probably in the best shape I've been in years, even just with the 16-day trip. We hiked, we swam, we napped. It was such a beautiful, peaceful, like energetic at the same time
Oh
location.
my gosh.
Yeah, that I mean, even now it's like it's melted into my daily life. Um
I
and
love that. I love that. Yeah, I have to say, when I was in Costa Rica and I came back, I told people Costa Rica is life changing. And they're like, well, you traveled all over the place, Trace. And I go, but there is an energy in Costa Rica. And especially like in
yeah.
any of the jungle areas, it's like there's a pulse. It's hard to describe, but it is one of my favorite places. So, Dean, I'm gonna thank you so much for sharing so much of your trip with us. And for any of you that are interested in going to Costa Rica, let's chat, because it is really just an incredible place to go. And to your point, Dina, like I was hiking and walking and eating whatever I wanted, and I came back feeling fit and healthy because they're one of the top green countries, and they're really all about like organic foods, and there's so many options for vegan and vegetarian. And I'm not even a vegan or vegetarian, but when you eat really well prepared food, it just feeds your soul. And so we just had the most amazing experience, and I highly recommend it. And I'm so grateful that you and your family allowed me to help participate in planning this dream vacation for you. And I love you. Thanks so much for being here
Oh,
today.
love you too, Tracy. It was
Okay.
amazing.
Thank you.